Hi everyone, I'm Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty, and I want to show you this fun, vibrant card focusing on the hummingbirds. And I love hummingbirds. I have them in my yard right now, and I just think they're so happy. So I wanted to kind of show that off with the colors I put in this card. I had seen a similar layout online, but their colors were different and the patterns were different. So I just kind of took different elements of that card and kind of made it my own, and that's what we do. All right, so for this particular card, I use the Thoughtful Expressions stamp set. And so here's the beautiful hummingbird as well as the accompanying flowers. And they really do have some nice words in here. And so I use that for these two. And the Just a Note came from another set. So you can, you can customize it. So this stamp set is current in the catalog, and so right now it's 2024. But the Stampin' Up! Retired its coordinating dies, and a lot of us were very sad about that. So these were the dies that came with the set, and you can see that there was outline to all the images, plus they had these beautiful nesting frames that you could do lots with it. So a lot of people have this, so if you do, go ahead and use your dies. But if you don't have it and you want to get the stamp set, these are actually not hard to cut out. I actually cut out these with scissors. This one I don't think I did. This one I cut out with scissors. And this one I cut out with scissors. So it's not hard, so don't let that worry you if you don't have the die. So that's what I'm going to show you. All right, so put that aside for a second. I already embossed my background, and I used the new Changing Leaves embossing folder. It's actually a hybrid embossing folder, which means you can use it just straight as an embossing folder like I did here, and you have that great texture of all the leaves, or it comes with a die, and the die actually fits right in to the embossing folder. And so you can put your paper in here and you can run it through your machine, and it embosses and cuts at the same time, which is really awesome. And it does go with, of course, a stamp set, Changing Leaves. And so these leaves are actually the size of the die, so you can also cut out the leaves with the die. So I just wanted to show you that. That's where I got the folder, and you can use either side. You can use this side or you can use this side, and I actually did that on these two cards. Hopefully you can see. So this size, this card has the raised images, and this has like that inlaid images. So you can use either side, whichever you prefer. So since that's up, I'm just going to use that side. I'm going to crease it on the back. All right, and this is Lemon Lime Twist, if you were wondering what color it was. So I'm going to stamp here on the white. I'm using Stays On ink because I'm going to use watercolor pencils. And whether or not I add water to it, we'll see. But if you're ever going to introduce water to anything, you want to use the Stays On. It's a permanent ink, so it won't bleed. So this is a larger stamp, so I actually invert it and bring my ink to my stamp. Let's push that right down like that, and so you get a really nice crisp image. And so I'm just going to stamp. Oop, that one wasn't so good, but that's all right. I have one already colored. You get these nice flowers, and you get this little flower. So those are the images I'm going to use on the card. Close that up. And so, like I said, I have my watercolored pencils. Stampin' Up! Sells, I actually have to see. They used to sell 2 packs, Watercolor Assortment 1 and Watercolor Assortment 2. And I actually forgot to look to see if they sell both. So it's a mixture of colors. Some of these colors might be retired, which is why I wasn't sure, like which raspberry I think is a retired color in the pack. That's why I can't remember. But you can use regular pencils, you can use watercolor pencils, whatever you like. So I'm going to sharpen that. I'm going to show you, I did have a little chart here for my hummingbird, but I just want to sharpen that quick. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green, which is a lighter green. So I have here, I colored two, which I'm going to color one in a second. They're both colored identically in that I did it's a ruby-throated hummingbird. That's the kind we have around here. This is actually a male, and the females don't have, at least for the ruby-throated, they don't have the red, and they're a little bit duller green. I guess the boys have to show off for the girls. So anyways, I started with the red, and then I added the green, and so this, let's see, this one is just colored with pencils. I just colored it and left it alone. This one I colored with pencils, the same patterns, but then I used a water painter to kind of smooth out it. And so you really don't see a whole lot difference. But if you do add water, you don't want to blend the red and the green together. Here I just kind of went up to the lines, but I didn't go over the lines because red and green make brown, and so you don't really want brown on there. So what I did is I just took my Granny Apple Green and I bared down hard. Oh, actually, I started with a red. So this is real red. I'm going to show you. And so I just did the kind of the throat there. And so I found that the real red actually has a lot of orange in it, especially if you add water. And so what I generally do is I add melon mambo on top of it, and that kind of helps a little bit. Or it's when you mix the colors, or one of the packs has cherry cobbler, and that's why I couldn't remember if they sold that pack or not. I should really look it up. So you can add cherry cobbler. And then I did the Granny Apple Green, and I did this whole thing. The pencils are okay to go over the colors. It's just when you add the water, you don't want to mix. All right, and so then I just kind of put scribbles in here, a tail, because just followed the lines a little bit. So that's kind of all I did for the Granny Apple Green right there. So it's nice and bright. And then I added some Old Olive in the rest of the spaces. I have to say, coloring on this glass mat is really nice. I did the coloring on my wood table before, but I like the surface under it has a nice feel to it. Add some up here. And then just kind of close in the gaps a little bit. Here, where the black lines are shadows. Again. So if I was not going to add water, I'd probably color up all the white spaces, but I am going to add a little water just to show you. And then I just used a little brown early espresso for its beak. All right. So that didn't really take me very long. I'm not going to color those because I already have some colored and cut. I'm looking for my water painter. So the water painters are sold in packs of 3. So you get 2 fine tip. This is kind of the bigger of the fine tips. And then you get this wider tip, which is really nice. You can put water in the barrel. It just unscrews. And it even says push. I didn't bring up any paper towels. I have a napkin up here. So you can push it and the water will come out like that. Or you can just use a container of water and use it just like a paintbrush. I have to say, that's generally what I do. All right, so if I was to go over the red, I'm just going over the red because remember I actually had 3 colors in there. And then I'll kind of clean it because I don't want to mix my browns and my greens. But the 2 greens I can blend right on top of each other. And hopefully you'll see. You can always add a little bit more water if you want. You can also use a blender pen with these pencils. Not a blend marker, but the blender pen. They also come in a pack of 3, and those would work too. All right, I can see that the water is mixing these greens together. I hope you can see it too. And that's really it. I don't want to do too much more. So then that blended it together, and it'll just take a second to dry. Didn't really do its eye. And then I'd usually just clean it off, or you can push it. You can see that I do still have some color in there, so I need to do a better job at cleaning it. Cover that. All right, so I had said you could either use those dies, but if you don't have the dies, because they don't sell them anymore, you can use scissors. So all of these are not hard to cut out because they have really kind of distinct lines, so you're just going to cut around them. When I cut, I like to leave a little white space between where I'm cutting and then like the image. Gives you a little border. I also find it's easier because if you try to cut on the line and you don't do it exactly, like this gives you a little wiggle room. And then the other thing is, if you want, this should be in camera, I'm keeping my right hand that has the scissors pretty much in the same spot, and I am moving my paper with my left hand, and that also helps. And the other thing is too, I like to keep the paper kind of deep in the scissors rather than towards the end. But just by turning that paper and the pressure from the scissors, it just cuts it. Kind of nice and smooth. But you can see it's not a hard one to cut out. All right, and I would do the same thing for the flowers too, but I do already have them colored and cut because I figured that would just make a quicker video. All right, so now, and then I'm just gonna flatten that out a little bit. All right, so here's our card base. Actually, here, you can probably even see. This one I cut with a die, and this one I cut with the scissors. They look pretty similar to me. This one added water, and this one I did not add water. So they're pretty similar. All right, so then I have, so the original card that I was kind of took inspiration from did use these nesting dies, but I didn't use them. I didn't want to because you can't get them. So we sell so many other different sets of nesting dies. So these ones are from Something Fancy. I think they're sold separate. They used to be a bundle from the stamp set, but I think they're separate now. And I'm actually going to use that stamp, a thank you. And I already cut out, now I just have to find them. Here they are. I cut out these shapes already. I did the smaller one in beige, and then this one is in white. And you can see kind of the differences of these two cards, even though the words are different. This is I made this one first, and I stamped on white and I put the beige underneath, which is lovely, but I actually thought it would stand out a little bit more with the beige on top and the white underneath. So that's what I'm going to do for this one. Use the same, stays on ink. And I'm just going to thank you. Now I don't know. Sorry, I'll just show you. You can actually, because this embossing folder, you can have it in any direction. If I wanted the card to go this way, I could still put that this way, or I could go this way. So it's however you want to arrange it. But I'm just going to I think I'll just do what I was doing. So this will go in the middle here. So I'm going to glue this one down. Do my best to get it into the center. I know, I feel bad covering up that beautiful leaf. Okay, and so now you can kind of play with it. I did a few differently, but I'll do this one how I originally did it. I put this one down first, and then I'm going to pop that up. And I know I've showed this trick on other videos, but if you put your little dimensional things in some sort of bowl, it makes your workspace so much cleaner, easier to throw away. All right, so that's gonna go like that. And then you can kind of play with, you just wanna make sure, because it's a big hummingbird, that it's within the card. And if you want, I'm gonna put this down here. I think I have that up like that. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like that, so it's slightly different. This one I'm kind of just centering. On the other ones, I'll show you. I had that kind of over a little bit. Yeah, maybe I will. I don't know. You can play with it however you want. So I'm going to do a mixture of dimensionals and glue. So the part that overhangs here, I'm going to put dimensionals. And then the part that will touch the part that's already raised, I'm going to use glue. Same thing, well, same thing with my bird here. Just trying to see where the flower. I'm going to put a little glue here and a dimensional on that side. There we go. So, because I want its beak to touch the flower. All right, so I'll put a dimensional here and here. And then the glue, just a little on its beak. All right, so that will go like that. There we go. Again, depending on the words you chose, like these words were bigger, so I spread it out a little bit more. This one, I only used 3, and I ended up putting the flower on the inside. So however you want to just put them on your card, you can. And you can see I colored these ones Melon Mambo. These ones I did Melon Mambo in orange. And this one I did totally orange, and this I did orange and Calypso Coral. So you can color your flowers however you like, but my birds are kind of pretty much the same. All right, well, I hope you liked it. Again, I used the Thoughtful Expressions that is in the catalog, and I just used my scissors to cut them out, and no problem. So thanks again for watching. I'm Christine Josti of Mail Something Pretty. Have a lovely day.